You cannot bullshit energy. You cannot bullshit God, frequency, source, prime creator, whatever you like to call it. And in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you why you haven't actually healed yet, why you are getting still triggered, and what that has to do with the frequency you are giving off. So make sure you do all those wonderful things, like, subscribe, and yeah, let's dive straight into the video. Before I dive straight into the video, I just want to let you all know on the 16th, I have an inner child workshop coming up, and this workshop will help you to reconnect to your inner child and learn some practices that will help you on your healing journey. And if you're somebody that has done those inner child meditations, you've read those books, you've watched those videos, but you're finding yourselves stuck or at a standstill and you want to go deeper, you want some deeper understanding on how to address your inner child wounds, then this workshop will be for you, because we will be going deep. I will be talking about child development, how the sense of self is formed, how you actually hold on to the beliefs. I'll be talking about the energy of the inner child, the chakras, and the alchemization of your wounds. So if that sounds like something you would be really cool to do, click the link in the pinned comments below and I will see you on the 16th. So yeah, we cannot bullshit energy. And what I mean about that is, no matter how much on a conscious level you are pretending or you perceive to be like healed or acting in a certain way, subconsciously and on an energetic level, we are still giving off that frequency of what is actually going on in your internal world. And so when this comes to healing, because this can apply to a lot of things in our life, but when it comes to healing, when we are on our healing journey, often we can think we are consciously healed, like I'm finally healed, or I'm on the path to being healed and that doesn't trigger me anymore. Or we think we're not getting triggered, but subconsciously we are still getting triggered. And there are many things as to why we are still getting triggered and as to why you haven't actually fully healed yet. And the first one is just simply, healing is not a linear journey. We can go through this journey feeling like we're making so much progress, sitting with ourselves, sitting with our wounds and our shadow and facing that head on and feeling like, yeah, I'm like dealing with my demons, I'm finally healing my wounds and then all of a sudden you feel yourself going backwards and you've fallen off the rails, you've fallen back into old habits, toxic behavior patterns, you're triggered easily, you either react instead of respond, or you get super emotional about something because it really triggered something from your own childhood. And that's because healing is not a linear journey and it's part of the process. And I like to always think of it, it's like a test as well to see, have you actually healed this? Or do we need to give you more time? If that makes sense. Does God, the universe, need to give you that extra little bit of time to heal that? Do you need to go back into that and reevaluate, sit with yourself again? And I think it's about showing yourself compassion and empathy in those times, because we all get off the rails. We're never really on the rails 100% of the time, because nobody knows what they're doing in life. Nobody has a fucking clue. So there are plenty of times when I've gone back into old toxic behavior patterns. I've been triggered by something. It's because the healing process is not linear, and that's just part of it. For us to go back into it, to reevaluate that wound and see if it does need any further healing, if we just need to come back to our inner child and show them love, because I do that on a daily basis. Sometimes I just place my hand on my heart and tell my inner child that you're loved, you're safe. So we can forget this idea of that healing, the best version of myself is the healed version of ourselves, and this ultimate goal that we have to achieve. It's not some destination. It's like a spiral that we go through. It's not from this point A to this point B. So this is why you can just get triggered again. So it's never anything you've done wrong. I don't think any point of your healing journey you're ever doing anything wrong. You're just in the process. You're in that journey, and that's what it means to have a journey go off the rails, take different directions, feel like you're taking step backs, feel like you're lost in your journey, you've gone down the wrong path and you've looped again. So it's just about getting back on that track, going down that right path next time, and responding instead of reacting, and thinking, well, where am I actually coming from? So the next thing is why you are still getting triggered when you think you've healed is because you think you have healed on the conscious level. You think, I'm that ultimate version of myself. I'm embodying my highest version of myself. I don't get triggered anymore. But deep subconsciously, what's happening is you're still on autopilot from those wounded beliefs, those inner child wounds. And when I say you cannot bullshit the universe will reflect back to you that you haven't healed, and will show people in your life, and they'll be the catalyst or whatever it is to show you that, hey, you haven't healed yet. Hey, there's a wound here. Hey, there's a wound here. So we can go around thinking, I've healed and that, but subconsciously on an energetic level in your body, you haven't addressed that. And it's about unfolding the parcel, removing the layers to get to the deep-rooted subconscious wound. And this is just about reprogramming ourselves and doing that mirror work, showing up for ourselves in that mirror, sitting with ourselves. Because when we see ourselves in the mirror, there's nowhere to hide. We can't keep hiding and running from our wounds. So when we sit with ourselves and go inward and do that mirror work, we are finally facing those parts of ourselves, that wounded, angry, sad little child within us. So we can think, I'm on my healing journey, because you're doing journaling every day, and that is a very powerful tool. I do really recommend journaling. But one journaling entry or a few journaling entries are not going to just shift all of that baggage you've been holding on to, because it goes into the body as well. And that's what we're forgetting. We think we're healed, but we haven't seen to the energy that the body holds on to. The energy of the wounded child gets stored within the body, in the chakras, and also in the nervous system. So that means we have got stagnant energy within the body, and if it's still held onto the body, it means it's still in the subconscious and in the nervous system, which means when we are still operating subconsciously from our wounds and our pain, we are going to give off the frequency of guilt, shame, and anger. So this means we are not, and so that means when you believe yourself to be on your healing journey, you feel like in a high vibrational state, have you addressed it on an energetic level that's actually stored within the body? Have you moved your body to really release that? So that's why I say you cannot bullshit the universe, because it will still always be reflected back to you that you still have wounds to heal. And you'll always find yourself in scenarios that the universe will say, hey, you've still got this to heal. You've got this to heal. If you really want to be in your mastery and take this spiritual journey seriously, look at this wound. You've got this to heal. Show yourself some self-love. Stop self-abandoning. And just going back to what I said about doing that journaling prompt, then you're healed. It takes more than that one practice. It takes more than one breathwork ceremony, one whatever ceremony that you're doing, unless it's probably very potent ceremony like ayahuasca. And for example, I was just part of a group program where it was about business and the beliefs that stop you from really flourishing in your business. And they did a somatic breathwork releasing ceremony. And people in the group were complaining that nothing happened. I reached out to these people in the group. I said, unfortunately, sometimes it takes more than one breathwork practice, more than one journaling entry, especially when we have deep, heavy, dense emotions in our body and that have programmed our subconscious mind. And so that means it's this ongoing process, this evolution, this spiral that keeps going on. And sometimes we fall back down. And it's just about getting back on track and doing those practices again and again. Because no matter how much you think on a conscious level, I've healed, I bet you there'll be always something you'll get triggered by. And that's when you are triggered, that is the medicine. So we need to stop thinking, I can't be triggered. I'm not allowed to be triggered. If I'm triggered, that means this, this, and this, and this. Allow the trigger to tell you where you need to heal, where that wound is coming from, because it is medicine. If someone triggers you, say thank you, because they are giving you the medicine you need that you were not aware of where a wound was. So they're giving you that medicine now, so because you can heal that. So if you are not triggered ever, I will think, what the heck is going on? It's important to have a trigger sometimes, so then we're able to evolve as a person, be more compassionate to ourselves and to that person, because the person that triggers us or says something is always just their own insecurities. So when you begin to move the energy and see that we've got to do this from the mind, body and soul, then we can begin to release and let go in order to let the divine in, and then we can, if you want to call it, raise our vibration, ascend into higher states of consciousness, because we are becoming more neutral then with our triggers. Because it's never really about getting rid of the trigger. It's about being neutral with the trigger, or coming from a place that you feel like you are flexible enough to respond. It's not about constantly, well, I need to be calm, I can't react, I can't have an emotional outburst. It's about coming back into balance and being flexible with your choices, and knowing that everything has no built-in meaning. It's only the meaning we give it. So triggers are very important part of the healing journey, of our spiritual journey, because when we have neutrality, we kind of become less attached. We're not attached to the old pain. We're not attached to any future anxiety. And our ego doesn't hold on to that wound and that identity, that core belief. And then when we are in a higher state of vibration, then we are able to attract then into our lives more high vibrational experiences. So if this video has triggered you at all, take that as a good sign that you now have a gateway, an opportunity to go and address the wound. So with that all being said, don't forget to check out this video next, where I talk about how you can't just think your way into healing and what you must do instead. So I'll see you over there. Much love.